Hi, my name is غانسيل, and I'm a part-time lecturer in the Department of Philosophy at Yale University and a senior fellow at the Rivendell Institute. Today we're going to talk about part of the philosophical problem of evil. The philosophical problem of evil is an argument, beginning with facts about evil, leading to the conclusion either that God does not exist, or that it's most likely the case that God does not exist. So first we need to make a distinction. There is what has been called the deductive or the logical problem of evil, and then there is what has been called the evidential problem of evil. Deductive or logical problem of evil I like to call the square circle objection, or the charge of contradiction. It is an argument that to believe that God exists and that evil exists is like believing in square circles. There's a contradiction. The evidential problem, on the other hand, I like to call the unicorn objection. It is not that there's a contradiction, but it's pretty hard to believe in God in light of facts about evil. Today I'm going to talk about the logical problem of evil and how theists or philosophers who believe in God begin to answer it. So first we need to look at what is the charge of contradiction. Where is the contradiction found? I'm following a famous paper by a British philosopher named John Mackey, who began his argument with a couple of premises. Premise 1, God exists and is wholly good, omnipotent, and omniscient. The second premise is that evil exists. So we have God on the one hand and evil on the other hand. His aim is to show that these two together entail or lead to a contradiction. He recognizes that the contradiction is not obvious at first. We have to amplify what does it mean for God to be wholly good, omnipotent, and omniscient. Once we amplify this, we can see how these premises together lead to a contradiction. In order to amplify this, he adds two additional premises. Premise 3. There are no limits to what an omnipotent, omniscient being can do. Premise 4, a good being always eliminates or prevents evil as far as it can. That's part of what it means to be a good being. So Mackey has four premises, and he tries to derive a contradiction from them. We can see pretty clearly that he can succeed. We can take step number 5. God can eliminate or prevent all of the evil there is. If premise 1 is true, and God is all-powerful, omnipotent, then he's powerful enough to eliminate all evil. Premise 6, God will eliminate or prevent all of the evil that there is, because he is good. If premise 1 is true, and God is wholly good, and premise 4 is true, a good being always eliminates or prevents evil as far as it can, then step 6 is true. God will eliminate or prevent all of the evil that he can eliminate because he is good. So from these 6 steps, we can see that a contradiction follows. If step 5 and step 6 are true, then we get the conclusion that God does eliminate or prevent all evil. Well, if God eliminates and prevents all evil, then step 8 is true. There is no evil. But the final step, step 9, builds on premise 2, the premise that evil exists. And we get a statement, there is evil, and there is no evil. And that is the explicit contradiction. Something is wrong with a valid argument that leads to a contradiction. Some premise has to be rejected. John Mackey and other atheists think premise 1 needs to be rejected. It's not true that God exists and is wholly good, omnipotent, and omniscient. Theists, or philosophers who believe that God does exist, they think the problem is not with the first premise, nor is it with the second premise, because it's pretty obvious that evil exists. Rather, they look carefully at the additional premises, premise 3 and premise 4.